భారతీయత సాంస్కృతిక కళలలో చేనేత ముఖ్యమైనది. ఆ మాటకు ఏమాత్రం తీసిపోకుండా కంటికి ఇంపైన రంగురంగుల వస్త్రాలను నేసే నైపుణ్యం నేతన్నలది. కానీ మన దేశంలో ఉంటూ మన చేనేత వస్త్రాలు ధరించని యువత ఉన్న ఈ రోజుల్లో అమెరికాలో పుట్టి పెరిగి భారత వస్త్రధారణపై పరిశోధన చేసేందుకు తెలంగాణ చేరుకుంది ఆ యువతి. వస్త్ర పరిశ్రమపైన డిగ్రీ పట్టా పొందింది. ఒక పరిశోధనలో భాగంగా ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా పర్యటిస్తూ వివిధ దేశాల్లో వాడే వస్త్రాలు, వాటి తయారీ తెలుసుకుంటోంది. ఇటీవల తెలంగాణలోని సిరిసిల్ల, పోచంపల్లి, గద్వాల్ జిల్లాల్లో పర్యటించి అక్కడ చేనేత పరిశ్రమ గురించి పరిశీలించింది. తెలంగాణ చేనేతకారుల నైపుణ్యాన్ని మరెక్కడి వారితోనూ పోల్చేయమని చెబుతున్న జాప్ గబ్రియల్తో ప్రత్యేక ముఖాముఖి.
ఫిలడెల్ఫియాలో పుట్టి పెరిగిన కియారా టెక్స్టైల్ హిస్టోరియన్గా పనిచేస్తూ ఇప్పుడు సస్టైనబిలిటీ పైన రీసెర్చ్ చేస్తున్నారు. అయితే ఆ రీసెర్చ్లో భాగంగా ఇప్పుడు ప్రస్తుతం తెలంగాణలోని సిరిసిల్ల, సిద్దిపేట జిల్లాలో పర్యటిస్తూ వారి వీవర్స్ కోసం తెలుసుకుంటున్నారు. అయితే ఈ తన రీసెర్చ్కి సంబంధించి మరిన్ని విషయాలు ఆమెను అడిగి తెలుసుకుందాం. హాయ్ కియారా.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Really well. I'm enjoying India.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you're here and why you're here for.
So I won the Watson grant in the United States, and it's a year-long grant to study whatever I want, and I've decided to study sustainable textile techniques and the history of those techniques here in India and in 10 other countries around the world. India is my 10th country.
And what places have you covered so far in India?
So Telangana is actually my first stop.
Okay.
So I'm really glad to be here.
What are all the places that you've covered in Telangana so far?
So we went to Pochampally and to Sirsila, and went to see the Golabama saris as well. Okay. As well as meeting with several people, including Mr. Venkana, the National Handloom Day creator.
And how was it? How was the experience talking to the weavers and stuff?
I was really impressed. The weavers are really excited about their craft. I particularly liked Pochampally. Yeah, it's great to see people who are really enjoying the work that they do. This is one of the few places where I've seen commercialized handloom weaving in particular, and it's just great to see the craftsmanship, but also on a sustainability side. It's really great to see that as well.
Okay. So you're here in India as a part of your research work. Do you have a personal interest on Indian textile industry?
Yes, of course. India is sort of the heart of the textile industry, both now and hundreds of years ago as well. So I'm really hoping to visit numerous different states around India to learn each of the different techniques. I'm a weaver as well, so I can really appreciate seeing the weaving techniques and hopefully getting to try them myself.
Okay. And what are the things that you have learned from the weavers from Sirsilla or Siddipet districts?
I think I've learned a little bit more about sustainability and sort of how far we need to go industrially. I've seen the handloom weavers are fantastic with working with cotton and silk and really fine quality materials that are absolutely wanted in the US. But I've seen a lot of polyesters used for these big power looms, and I had a wonderful talk with your minister about how we can possibly be moving away from those, where there is a market for these sustainable fibers.
And what have you observed so far from the tour that you have done so far in Telangana?
I would say I definitely observed that the Pochampally weavers were a lot happier and a lot more creative than the weavers in Sirsilla. I think because in Sirsilla you have a middleman who's working to sell the pieces of cloth that the weavers make, and so the weavers aren't reaping the benefits of that. And while the weavers in Pochampally are working with beautiful cloths, the silks and the cottons and the mercerized fabrics, the weavers on the power looms are standing for 12 hours a day, and they're working with polyesters, and it's hard to be quite as proud of what you're creating when it's not a craft, it's just a job.
And as a textile historian, how important do you think is Indian textile industry?
I think it's immensely important. I would say that possibly after China, it's the largest exporter to the US. And so what happens in India, the rest of the world is watching, and the rest of the world is also buying. And so the movements that KTR and the rest of your ministers are making for the handloom industry and for trying to create sustainable power looms and natural dyes are going to be watched by the rest of the world and hopefully also emulated by the rest of the world. So incredibly important. I can't downplay the importance.
And since you have written a few things about the fabric and stuff, do you have anything to say about the handloom in Telangana?
I was particularly excited to see the double jacquards. It's the first time I've seen double jacquards at work. I've probably at this point worked on more than 12 different types of handlooms. And so it's really fun to see modern technology being mixed with an older piece to make the work easier for the weavers, but also to produce some really beautiful fabrics.
And also we've heard that you're more into sustainability and stuff. Do you have any message to people about being sustainable? How important do you think is sustainability in this current world?
I would say that the textile industry is the biggest polluter on the planet currently. And again, what happens in India, the rest of the world is going to be watching. And so my message would be, please move away from polyesters. You have wonderful silks, and I had the opportunity to visit some of the silk factories, and they're not producing as much as they could be. And they all told me, we'd love to be producing more, we'd love to have more silk, and people in the US would love to buy more silk. We can't get silk in the US. I also had a wonderful chat with a man who's working on recycling the water used in dyes. And not only does this cut down on the cost, because you have to buy all of that water to be used to dye your t-shirts, but he's doing a wonderful thing for the environment. And so I've met so many really passionate people who know how to fix these problems. It's just bringing them together. So my request is please stop using plastics in your clothing. You know, I'm going to start wearing all handloom fabrics in the future, and I hope everybody else does too.
Okay. And, so Telangana is your first pit stop in India. Where's your next stop?
So I'm flying to Kochi, actually, later today, and then I'll be visiting Varanasi.
How is it going to be?
I'm not sure yet, but I've been put in contact with a couple of different people. I really hope to see a very wide variety of things. I want to see the weavers who are just working in their houses, and I want to see the big dye factories as well, and see what I can do to hopefully shed light on the experience of the weavers, because it's very broad. I've been seeing, even here in Telangana, there's some weavers that seem very happy, very proud of their work, and some weavers who are very sad, who are really hoping for a change in the textile industry.
So, here in India, there are still a lot of people who don't understand the importance of sustainability and also the handloom industry. And as a textile historian, do you have anything to say about that? How would you educate people to use the regional handloom and textile?
I think you don't know it until you see it. And so we need more publicity around these things. You know, can we go into our silk workshops? Can we see the silk cocoons? Can we have important people going to these places and filming it? You know, I'm just one person, and there are a lot of other people who have fantastic ideas. So I want to see more of that. I would say even in the US, most people in the US, even my own family, they have no idea where their clothing comes from, and they have no idea. I was in a room of textile researchers, actually, some of my students, and I asked them, the raise of hands, how many people here can tell me what their clothing is made out of? And nobody could. Oh. They had no idea. They had no idea whether it was polyester, cotton, silk, what it was made out of. And we need to stop that. We need to educate people. So, but that's my hope. My hope is to educate people.
Yeah. And entirely, how was your trip to Telangana, academically?
It was wonderful. I've been really, really impressed with the work that's happening here, and I think India is second to none when it comes to just the care that people take, and I've been so happy to see all of these places. In some of the other countries I've been to, it's very hard to find weavers. And in some cases, it's because they aren't there.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. ఇది చేనేత వస్త్రాలకు సంబంధించి కియారా చెప్తున్న విషయాలు. అందరూ కూడా చేనేత వస్త్రాలు ప్రమోట్ చేస్తూ వాటిని వాడాలి అంటున్నారు కియారా. కెమెరామెన్ నిరంజన్తో వాణి, ఈటీవీ న్యూస్, హైదరాబాద్.